program, Norml Show Live, is intended for responsible adults only. We advocate for the repeal of marijuana prohibition for adults. We discuss the science, culture, and controversy about America's marijuana laws. We do not advocate or encourage any illegal activity and advise all listeners to learn their state and federal marijuana laws by visiting norml.org, Norml.org. Opinions and claims made by guests and advertisers of Norml Show Live are their own and do not necessarily reflect the philosophy and policies of Norml. Listener discretion is advised.
You take a seed, you plant it, you grow it, you dry it, you roll it, you smoke it. You take a seed, you plant it, you grow it, you dry it, you roll it, you smoke it, and it goes down smooth. Hey!
Spanning the continent to bring you the truth about cannabis and marijuana law reform.
I smoke pot and I like it a lot.
From the promise of legalization.
And I think we need to rethink and decriminalize our marijuana laws.
To the agony of prohibition.
One major responsibility is to encourage people to use less drugs.
The National Organization for the Reform of Marijuana Laws presents Norml Show Live, Marijuana Nation. Now, here's your host, Norml's Outreach Coordinator, Radical Russ Belville.
Good day, tokers and tokettes, and welcome. It is Friday, March 30th, 2012, and it's got to be 420 somewhere in the world. And big thanks go out to our new animator, Timmy Harris. Check him out at timmyharris.com, and you can see the new Flash animation that we've got running for Norml Show Live. I hope you all like it. The design, I think, is really, really cool. We're also going to fix it up a little later so that those still photos with our faces in the circles will actually be videos. Kind of like when you're watching the NFL and they announce the players and person's head pops up there and kind of sits around there while they talk about them. We're going to have some of those as well. So continuing to professionalize Norml Show Live and the Norml Network as we get ready for our new lineup starting April 2nd. We're going to talk all about that a little bit later. Before we get to that, let's go to our virtual studio in Astoria, Oregon, where Cannabis Carrie is standing by. Hi, Carrie.
I'm actually sitting by, but okay.
You're sitting by? Okay. Did you see the new intro?
I did. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm loving it.
Pretty nice. So are they going to animate our blockheads, or you're saying they're actually going to animate us?
No, you have to come in here to the studio, John and Kaliko, and then we sit here and film ourselves for about 8 seconds just sitting here, and then he's going to put that into the intro.
Nice.
We're also going to get new Flash animated intros for the segments here on the show, so there'll be like a Cannabis Carry Flash intro, a Radical Rant Flash intro, and so on. We'll get intros
it's like
for
Christmas for you.
I know. We'll get intros for Toker Talk Radio, A Different View, Norml Rocks, Irie Island Hour, Ganja John Show. We got plenty of animations coming up, and big thanks to TimmyHarris.com for donating his time and talents to help us out. Now, Carrie's got our hemp headlines right after this first break, so what's in the news today?
I do. Well, we've got quite a bit of news today. We're going to see if we can smash 6 stories in today. I'm going to tell you about a DEA raid that was not on a marijuana grower. That's good news. Also, notice out to independent truckers, you better check your loads. I'll tell you about a trucker in Texas that didn't. We're going to go to D.C. where they're naming the dispensaries finally in their program. And also I have some world cannabis news about a man in Liberia. I'm going to tell you how the DEA does it over there. All right.
Also, I have news on Indiana drug testing and a new poll on legalization from Rasmussen Reports. We got Herb Thrasher calling in with our Norml Rocks Rockin' Friday tune. He's got some music from Nothing Sacred, a tune called Warhead. And then our special guest at half past the hour, I'm so excited, Rob Van Dam from TNA Wrestling and Sean Cush from Hashbar TV. They're here to talk about their new movie, Boardwalk Empire, The Rise and Fall of the Medical Kush Beach Club. We've been showing you trailers from that. We'll talk to them at half past and maybe even take some of your calls as well. It's Norml Show Live. We are the voice of the Marijuana Nation. Thanks for sticking around. We'll be right back after these messages.
You're listening to Norml Show Live, the voice of the Marijuana Nation.
Hi, I'm Radical Russ. One of the best things about marijuana is the wonderful aroma. But when you travel a lot like I do, that aroma becomes a suspicious smell. That's why I endorse stealth-products.com, the leaders in smell-proof containers. From smell-proof vacuum bags to smell-proof backpacks and duffel bags, all the way to smell-proof digital safes, stealth-products.com has you covered. Stealth-products.com brings you safe, secure, odorless layers of protection with activated carbon fiber. Backpacks and duffel bags are simple black so as not to attract attention with a logo or flashy design. Now, nothing is perfectly odor controlled from the detection of drug dogs, but with proper vigilance, containers from stealth-products.com will help you avoid nosy humans.
You're now listening to Elliot Beats.
Stealth-products.com. Stealth-products.com.
Up to the Dirt Ball from Suburban Noise Records, Cottonmouth Kings. This is Norml Show Live. Keep it right here, yeah.
Weedmaps.com. I'm Radical Russ from Norml. In my job as outreach coordinator, I travel every month, and when I'm on the road, I need a fast, accurate way to find the medical marijuana dispensaries in the area. So I turn to Weedmaps.com. Weedmaps.com has the best dispensary locator online or on your mobile device. Search by zip code or let Weedmaps find you, and in seconds you'll have the addresses, phone numbers, and customer service reviews for the medical marijuana dispensaries in the local area. Weedmaps.com also has a section devoted to helping you find a doctor who understands and recommends medical marijuana under your state's law. You can even check prices on the Medical Marijuana Stock Exchange. Coming soon, you'll even be able to find the listings of Norml attorneys and chapters, local head shops and grow shops, and the best weed-friendly businesses. Weedmaps.com has the information you need to be an informed cannabis consumer. Visit Weedmaps.com today, a proud sponsor of the Norml Network.
Inhaling deeply of the sacred smoke.
Medical marijuana, industrial hemp, consumer cannabis. It's time for this week's Norml News with Cannabis Carrie.
We have a story about a DEA raid that wasn't on a marijuana grower. U.S. Drug and Enforcement Administration agents raided a North Carolina lab that tests products for synthetic marijuana and other illegal ingredients. North Carolina has banned the sale of some versions of the synthetic marijuana products, but the products have still been on the shelves, supposedly with more legal but similar ingredients. Research Triangle Park Labs has been doing the testing of many products seized in the last 2 years for North Carolina, and of these products to see if they contain any of those outlawed ingredients. Now, I could not find out if this lab has been testing products from other jurisdictions, like in neighboring Virginia, where we covered a story about $1 million worth of synthetic THC products that were tested only to find that they didn't have one of the outlawed chemicals and had to be returned. Now, I'm bringing that up because over the last 2 years, it seems that Research Triangle Park Labs has never issued a report of any of the banned synthetic products being found. We do know what DEA agents found because they are calling this an ongoing, we don't know what the DEA agents actually found because they're calling this an ongoing investigation and can't comment. And no one else has heard from Alston Skies, the listed owner of the lab. But what is public documentation, Russ, is the warrant. DEA agents had requested a warrant on the lab facility after they gave the lab a sample of actual synthetic marijuana that contained the controlled substances, and the lab said that they found none. The search warrant application also said that they were seeking information to find out if the lab routinely tested samples for unregistered parties. The only other piece of the puzzle that we have, Russ, is that the DEA removed hundreds of files from the lab facility, along with computers and lab equipment.
God, what a weird story this one is. I mean, they're not suspecting them of not catching K2. I mean, what a weird situation here. Of course, as usual, this whole situation of having to test K2, and for that matter, K2 even existing and people using it in the first place, all owes to marijuana prohibition. And we got another story coming up in just a little bit here about this drug testing, and you'll really be shocked as to what sort of failure rates we are allowing here in America to determine whether or not we go free or get a job because of a drug test.
And we told you about Maine this week, finally opening up the first few state licensed dispensaries there. And now we look to our nation's capital, Washington, D.C., where they have just announced that they have finally selected 6 companies that will grow and supply cannabis to the District of Columbia residents who qualify for a medical marijuana recommendation from their doctors. The Washington Post wrote up a story about D.C. finally getting their dispensary program off the ground. Medical marijuana patients don't really exist yet in areas like D.C., where they do not allow home grows. So patients have no legal way to get cannabis to use medically until the city opens up those doors for the program dispensaries. Now, today the Post is reporting that after running that story, the 6 dispensaries getting the green light, so to speak, they have been fielding calls from readers who would like to know where they can apply for a job at one of the city's newest businesses. Great news in a downturn economy for job seekers. We've long been touting that the cannabis industry will bring jobs and tax revenues to communities that embrace them. I just wanted to say good luck to those D.C. city job seekers.
Yeah, one more hurdle finally passed here in the epic of getting medical marijuana to Washington, D.C. Of course, Washington, D.C. passed medical marijuana in 1998, but Congress forbade them from counting the votes. That's right. Of course, Washington, D.C. is all controlled by Congress, so they have the ultimate say as to what that government does in the city, and they forbade them from counting the votes. After the U.S. Supreme Court kind of said, hey, you got to count the votes. You can't have an election and not count the votes. After the votes were counted, it was found that medical marijuana passed with a 69% voter margin in Washington, D.C. So what did Congress do then? They said, okay, you passed medical marijuana, now you can't spend any money to implement it. So we've been sitting around for a decade waiting for medical marijuana to finally get started in Washington, D.C. With the election of President Obama, he finally kind of let off of that pressure. Congress also let off of that pressure, finally allowed D.C. to move forward. But how many people in that time, in the past 12 to 14 years, have been waiting for medical marijuana in the district, have been suffering, and perhaps have even died waiting for the will of the voters to be recognized in our nation's capital? It is so offensive to think that our Congress stopped people from being able to get medical marijuana after more than 2 out of 3 of them voted for it. So still, we have yet to have a single medical marijuana patient or a single bud of medical marijuana in the district, but at least we're now one step closer.
And you independent truckers might want to check your loads. An 18-wheeler in Texas was stopped yesterday in Parker County after the local sheriff's department cruiser noticed an incomplete weld from a load truck that was parked in a truck stop parking lot. He called for a K-9 unit to investigate. The driver was detained and the drug dog made an alert on the truck. Agents found over a ton of marijuana, but they had to cut through metal to retrieve it. They estimate the street value at about $3,000 a pound, so they're calling this bust worth almost $8 million. After investigating the driver, they determined that he was working for an independent trucking company. He had just picked up the load and was unaware that marijuana was hidden in the large container. He would have driven it all the way to the East Coast for delivery. That trucker was released without charges.
How many times does this happen where, people are involved in trafficking felony amounts of marijuana or other drugs, and they don't even know it? These poor independent truckers that are just trying to make a living, especially these days with the fuel costs as high as they are. I mean, every single dollar counts. Just this guy being detained for that marijuana is enough time off of his log sheet that this could have caused a major problem with his finances. He have bills he can't make, might not be able to make rent or mortgage, again, because we're trying to outlaw commerce in something that a vast number of people in America want. 17.4 million of us using marijuana every month. Somebody's going to truck it into this country. Somebody's going to ship it around this country. It's always going to happen. You're never going to get rid of it. It's not a question as to whether or not we legalize marijuana. Marijuana's here. The question is whether or not the market will be legal or whether it will be run by criminals.
And we have a story out of Liberia that caught my attention this morning. This story comes to us from the Liberian Observer. Police in Bonga, that's the capital of Bong County, are investigating 2 men for flogging a man in the streets who later died in the hospital from his wounds. Police sources have identified the 2 men as officers of the Liberian DEA, the Drugs Enforcement Agency. The chief of the Crime Service Division of the Liberian National Police of Bong County told the Daily Observer that Fred Saley, the victim, was flogged by the 2 men on suspicion of smoking marijuana and an allegation of resisting arrest. According to Inspector Alvin James, he said the question for police was what capacity the arrested men had flogged the victim. The incident happened at 11:45 p.m. on Wednesday night. The victim and a group of people were driving to another part of the country and had stopped at a club to get a cup of hatai, a warm herbal drink that wakes you up like coffee does for the long drive. The driver and the victim stepped out for a smoke behind the club while the others were getting their drinks. The eyewitnesses say they did not see what kind of cigarette Saley and the driver had. The other men then say they heard loud noises from where the men stepped back to smoke, and when they went over, they saw 2 men beating Saley and noticed that he was wearing handcuffs during the beating. A passenger claims that the agents demanded that they give them $600 before they let their friend go. They claim that they did give the men all of the money that they had, but together it didn't make quite $600 that was asked from them. Excuse me. They say that once the agents realized that Saley was unconscious, they got on motorbikes that were marked boldly by DEA and they left. It was Saley's friends who took the battered man to the hospital where he was pronounced dead. Preliminary interrogation from the police report say that the two men do admit to flogging the man on his arms, but denied flogging him as severely as the witness accounts. They say that their action was prompted by the victim's illegal activity and then his refusal to submit to their authority. The agents say that they saw the men smoking marijuana. One of the agents disguised himself and asked to smoke with them, and he said as soon as Fred Saley handed the officer the marijuana, the officer said, "You're under arrest," and that Saley would not submit to that arrest. Now, trying to distance themselves from the scandal, the Drugs Enforcement Agency released a press release today that said that after looking into it, the two men were actually informants rather than full-time employees of the agency, and they're not sure why they had those official motorbikes. But at least the murderers of this man have been arrested, Russ.
While we're here in the Pacific Northwest arguing about whether or not a person who uses medical marijuana all day, every day is going to be able to drive, while we're in Colorado deciding whether or not an ounce and 6 plants is true legalization, people in Liberia are being beaten to death over smoking a joint. People in Georgia are dying in jail cells over smoking a joint. People all across this country are losing their financial aid and college careers over smoking a joint. This is global perspective we've got to bring to this war on drugs. The entire world bans cannabis because the United States kind of twisted their arm into banning cannabis. The United States will not stop prohibiting marijuana until some state or states stop prohibiting marijuana. That is why it is so critical in this 2012 election to vote yes on any chance you get to legalize marijuana. That first domino has to topple before we can stop the deaths from flogging in places like Liberia. Thanks for those news stories, Carrie. I've got a couple others here. We were talking earlier about drug testing. This comes from the Indianapolis Star. 10% of marijuana drug test positives were actually drug-free. After 3 months of negotiations, the state has provided the Indianapolis Star with a summary of results from the retesting of actual blood samples from 2007 to 2009. The new tests were ordered after an outside auditor raised questions about the lab's work during that period, and specifically about the original results of the samples sent for retesting. The new results are disturbing on multiple levels. The state paid an independent lab to double-check nearly 800 test results that were reported to prosecutors as positive for marijuana or cocaine. The retesting, however, showed no trace of the drugs originally reported in 243, or 30%, of those samples. In Marion County, Prosecutor Terry Curry said his office has received letters about 670 cases where test results have been called into question by the audit or retesting. He said 20 of those notices involved retesting that revealed no presence of drugs, findings contrary to the state lab's initial reports. About 10% of the positive marijuana results and 30% of the positive cocaine tests did not meet widely accepted scientific standards and should not have been reported to police and prosecutors. So how many innocent people, both cannabis consumers and non-cannabis consumers, were prosecuted for a DUID, a probation or a parole violation, and subsequently caged because of the sloppy work of the Indiana Crime Lab? Can you imagine some woman swearing, but I've never smoked pot before, how could I be positive, in court, and then having the judge and the prosecutor issue that condescending, you must be lying kind of stare at them? The war on drugs has us accepting in court as factual evidence the alerts of trained drug detecting dogs that we know false alert to please their handlers. We accept as evidence the testing of blood and urine, which has been shown to be riddled with inaccuracies and irrelevant for determining impairment in the first place. Hell, we'll even keep 11-year-olds out of the school orchestra if they don't pee in a cup. Has this gone too far for you yet? And one more story to top the news off, top the weekend off, top the month of March off with some good news. We reported last year, 2011, about the Gallup poll, the first one to show more Americans supporting marijuana legalization than not, 50 to 46. Well, now Rasmussen research has confirmed what Gallup has told us. More Americans want legalized marijuana than don't want legalized marijuana. Right. This is from Rasmussen. The question was, to help solve America's fiscal problems, should the country legalize and tax marijuana? And the results were, adults say by 47%, that the country should legalize and tax marijuana in order to solve the nation's fiscal problems. 42% disagree, while 10% are undecided. So once again, more people in the United States of America who have an opinion on the issue think that marijuana ought to be legalized, taxed, and regulated similar to alcohol, that dealers shouldn't be making money off pot. Let's get that money to the states in the form of taxes. Let's get that money to the economy in the form of jobs. Let's legalize marijuana. What do you say? We're going to take a break. Be right back with Herb Thrasher.
It's 20 after the hour, and we have to take a short break, if you know what I mean. Please support these sponsors who support Norml Show Live.
Oh, have you ever met that funny reefer man? A reefer man. Have you ever met that funny reefer man? A reefer man. If he said he swam to China, he would sell you South Carolina. Then you know you're talking to that reefer man.
The law offices of Omar Figueroa would like to remind you to stand up for your rights. Please do not give up your precious liberties. There's nothing wrong with standing up for our constitutional rights, and in fact, it's the only way to honor the Constitution that recognizes our natural rights. Treat law enforcement with respect and respect the Constitution by standing up for your rights. If you are detained or arrested, stand up for your rights by repeating, "I respectfully invoke all my legal and constitutional rights. I do not consent to any search and seizure. I want to remain silent, and I want to speak to my attorney, Omar Figueroa." Omar Figueroa has more than a decade of experience in federal and California courts and graduated from Yale University, Stanford Law School, and Trial Lawyers College. Please contact the law offices of Omar Figueroa at 415-489-0420 or 707-829-0215 or on the web at www.omarfigueroa.com.
Hey, can we buy some pot? Marijuana is illegal and immoral. No, wait, that's cocaine. No, I don't have any marijuana.
Hi, this is Willie Nelson. Alcohol prohibition didn't work in the 1920s, and marijuana prohibition isn't working today. It's time we stopped arresting responsible marijuana smokers. It's the fair thing to do.
For more information, contact Norml, the National Organization for the Reform of Marijuana Laws. Call toll-free 888-67-NORML or visit their website at norml.org.
It's time for your daily Toker Tunes, the best in 420 friendly music from all genres that uplifts, entertains, and informs the public. Today, we take you into the weekend with Rockin' Friday. Our segment features the best of rock, metal, punk, and jam band music. If you'd like to submit your song to be played on Norml Show Live, send it to us at stash@norml.org. Now here's some more great independent marijuana music for today's Daily Toker Tune.
All right, folks, I hope you're ready to rock, because Herb Thrasher is here, and he's made of metal, and he's going to get you to rock your socks off. How you doing, Herb?
Still made of metal, dude, after all this time. Still going.
All these years, man.
After all these years, dude, I'm still metal, not a freaking ounce of rust. Nowhere.
All right, are you excited for us having RVD on here in a second?
Yes, man. Heck yeah, dude. I'd take him down in a heartbeat, man.
Right on.
Yeah, man. No, I've actually heard him. Wasn't he on your show maybe a year ago or something?
He was on the show maybe a year or two back. I was on his show, RVD Radio, once as well. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm still waiting for the Skype connection, but we'll have him on at half past, so it'll be a good time.
Yeah, definitely excited and definitely appreciate all he's done for our community. He's been a definite outspoken warrior for a long time, and kudos to you for getting him on there.
Right
Exciting times at Rolla J Studios.
All right, so let's get our Rockin' Friday on. You got a real heavy band for us this time.
Well, I do, man, and what's going on tonight with Norml Rocks at 8 o'clock on the Norml Network there is we're going to be playing a lot of brand new songs. I'm real excited, man. This week has been a major week for dropping new albums, and with our new record labels and stuff, we've just been getting all kinds of tunes, and so we're going to play a lot of new stuff, and then we're also a much-needed airplay of our Lion Eyes video interview. Well, we've been trying to get this on for a while, and like last week we had a great show with Bobby Black, and it just went a little long, and just haven't been able to get that on. So we're going to get that on. And then in the process of looking around, I really wanted to find an underground band, too, who had something new. And so I was looking around, and I found this band, and I don't know a damn thing about them. Still don't know a thing about them. And going to try something new today. I noticed through looking around that they're in need of a guitar player. So I thought I would read their guitar ad instead. I saw a video, and the singer was wearing an old school Pantera pot leaf jersey. And any of you Pantera fans, old school especially, know the merch. They went on this huge campaign, and he was wearing that jersey, and I thought that's all I needed to see. These guys need our help. And so I went and looked them up a little bit and found this ad, and this is Nothing Sacred. We're a high-energy, in-your-face rock and roll band heavily influenced by punk, blues, and heavy metal. The idea candidate for the band would be someone who shares similar interests in our influence's writing style, is responsible, has pro-level equipment and transportation. Someone who is able to do some backup vocals and or play a little lead is ideal but not necessary. Check out our tracks on the audio page and send your info, pics, MP3s to guitar@nothingsacredmusic.com. That's guitar@nothingsacredmusic.com if you're interested. And these guys are out of L.A., and I found information on Facebook. So look up their Nothing Sacred Facebook page, and I think they have a website too. But if you're a guitar player and you're ready to rock, look them up, man. Go check them out. Represent the cannabis community and keep rocking. Check us out tonight on Norml Rocks at 8 o'clock, and have a great weekend, guys.
All right, this is Nothing Sacred with Warhead for Rockin' Friday.
Percent of Americans no longer support arresting and jailing marijuana smokers, and nearly as many support the medical patients having access to medical marijuana. And over 80% of our citizens now believe the war on drugs is an ineffective failure. So the question is, When will the government's misguided war on adult marijuana smokers finally end? When? Simple. When you and your like-minded friends, family, and coworkers get involved with an organization such as the National Organization for the Reform of Marijuana Laws, also known as Norml. My name is Keith Stropp, and I founded the organization in 1970. Contact us at Norml, toll-free, 888-67-NORML, or by visiting the organization's up-to-date webpage at www.norml.org.
You know what they say. See a broad to get that booty yak 'em, leg her down or smack 'em, yak 'em. Cole got to be. Yo, shit.
Norml Show Live reminds you to never smoke and drive impaired. Hang out for a while and share.
Cause the day was hard and your work was long and you need a break from all that's wrong. You better look at the clock cause it's 4:19. Time to reach in that pocket for your bag of green and smoke that weed. Smoke that weed. Smoke that weed. Smoke that weed.
Party support legalizing and taxing marijuana use.
I think it's time for debate.
Norml Show Live.
And I think that we ought to study very carefully on what other countries are doing that have legalized marijuana and other drugs.
Marijuana Nation.
I saw him hanging there afterwards, a celebration party after the Mr. Olympia, smoking a joint. Did he really smoke a joint? And did he in fact inhale?
Saying I'm in need of a change. I'm in need of a change. See, I used to get high.
John said that you and him used to smoke weed together.
He was right.
He was right?
We always had a good time. We know how to enjoy ourselves.
Nothing to lose. Now I can't get high. Can't get high.
Come on, Cohagen, you got what you want. Give these people air.
Days come to pass and the nights tend to last much longer than they should.
I'll be back.
See, I used to get high. At the end of the day,
Hey folks, Radical Russ here at Rolla J. We're still trying to get Rob Van Dam and Sean Cush on the line. Please hang on for just a little bit longer. We're just about got them on. Hold on.
Can't get high. And you see, I wrote 1,000 words today.
Michael Phelps, Olympic superstar, 14 gold medals, world record holder. Bomb smoker. So much for that amotivational syndrome.
Now, here's an attractive couple, Gail Farrell from Durant, Oklahoma, Dick Dale from Algona, Iowa. Excuse me, let's listen to Gail and Dale and one of the newer songs.
One toke over the line, sweet Jesus, one toke over the line. Sitting downtown in a railway station, one toke over the line. Waiting for the train that goes home, sweet Mary, hoping that the train is on time. Sitting downtown in a railway station, one toke over the line. Ooh, do
love. I hope it's me. I've been changing, as you can plainly see.
I felt the joy and I learned about the pain
That my mama said, if I should choose to make a part of me, would surely strike me dead. And now I'm one toke over the line, sweet Jesus, one toke over the line. Sitting downtown in a railway station, one toke over the line. Waiting for the train that goes home, sweet Mary, hoping that the train is on time. Sitting downtown in a railway station, one toke over the line. One toke over the line, sweet Jesus, one toke over the line. Sitting downtown in a railway station, one toke over the line. Don't you know that we're
waiting for the train that goes home, sweet Mary,
hoping that the train is on time.
Sitting downtown in a railway station, one toke over the line.
Don't you know that we're
sitting downtown in a railway station, one toke over the line.
And there you heard a modern spiritual by Gale and Dale.
On the Venice Boardwalk, a club where members can, with a doctor's okay, buy medical marijuana.
Sean Kush, the Hugh Hefner of
It was like a slap in their face.
Break and stomp.
We want to go through all the steps and show you how intense it is to own a dispensary.
Videotape that.
There were doctors' wards in Venice Beach. It got nasty.
The bigger it got, I guess, the more risky it got.
No, my picture's right here. Look at you, kid. You're on the taper. LA Times front page.
Sean's a visionary, and he's a little ahead of himself, but you know, so is I.
Hash Bar TV, the ultimate Cheech and Chong joint.
Pretty soon those doctor's offices were just sprouting up too, all along the boardwalk.
The most devastating effect of the war on marijuana is that it is a war on everyday people like you and me. All week, we speak to the doctors, scientists, celebrities, and politicians who make up the professionals fighting for cannabis liberty. But we never forget about the tens of millions who use cannabis, the millions who need medical access to cannabis, and the hundreds of thousands arrested every year for cannabis, and the tens of thousands imprisoned under our marijuana laws. At Norml, we are the Cannabis Consumers Lobby, and we take this opportunity to share the experience of our cannabis community.
All right, welcome back, everybody, and thanks for being patient there while we worked out some of the connection issues. But joining us by telephone, we have both Sean Kush from Hash Bar TV and Rob Van Dam, the legendary wrestler, on the air here to talk about the clip you just saw, Boardwalk Empire, the rise and fall of the Medical Kush Beach Club. Welcome, gentlemen, to the show.
Hey, thanks, Radical Russ.
Glad to have you here. Let's start with RVD, Rob Van Dam. How you doing?
Dude, I'm doing excellent, man. Appreciate talking to you again. It's been a minute. I think maybe since the Norml conference in San Francisco.
Yeah, I think so. And, you know, before we get started, I did want to kind of dedicate this interview to a mutual friend of ours that we lost, Bobby B., who is very strong in our community up here in Oregon. Mutual friend of ours, kind of introduced us. So, we're missing him, and this one goes out to him, okay? All right, so let's start with Sean Kush here. Sean, we just saw that clip. They referred to you as the Hugh Hefner of marijuana. The show is Boardwalk Empire: The Rise and Fall of the Medical Kush Beach Club. Tell us a little bit about what this documentary is covering.
Well, basically, I started just filming because I just wanted to document all the craziness that I was going through with running this dispensary on the boardwalk. So I started up Hash Bar TV because I saw RVD was doing RVD TV like every week, and I was kind of inspired by that. So then we kind of launched it from there, off of, I guess, RVD TV. It came Hash Bar TV, where it kind of documented inside my store, and RVD was showing up every week. So he was a big part of it, and he's a producer on it. And then so we basically just started documenting everything every week, and just kind of document for Hash Bar TV. And then I got rated on 420 after 5 years of being open, and then it kind of turned from all the footage that I had for Hash Bar TV, it turned into, now let's make a documentary to show the craziness that I'm going through, and it's following what I'm going through in court and all the legal bull crap that I'm going through, and how they're trying to just totally screw me over. And I did everything right, paid all my taxes, did everything right. I was always consulting with my lawyers, my CPA, like every week. And they're totally screwing me over and making it seem like I'm a criminal, and I'm not. And I did everything right according to California state law. So that's what this is about. This documentary is basically following, the Venice Beach Boardwalk. And then also I managed the doctor's offices on the boardwalk, Cush Doctor.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had a partner who was causing problems, and then the other doctor's office would cause problems, and they would argue back and forth. And that kind of drama kind of creeped in through the back door, and I tried to eliminate that, but it just got way too beyond my control of trying to stop. And you'll see this in the documentary. It's just a crazy, it's like I couldn't have written a better story.
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous. It's a crazy story.
Well, Sean, part of it too, in the at least the trailer that I've seen for it, kind of points out this hyper-competitive nature that started happening down there on the boardwalk between different doctors' offices and different dispensaries down there.
Hey, I'm back, by the way. That was the most ridiculous thing ever. My phone actually died. Like soon as you said you were dedicating the show, I didn't get to hear who you're dedicating the show.
I'm sorry, RVD. I was dedicating the show to our mutual friend Bobby B, who we both lost just recently.
I'm glad I asked you to repeat that. Yeah, Bobby B.
Yes.
All right, Bobby B, good guy.
Yes,
hey, so anyway, I've been back for a second listening to Sean's long-winded answer, but just so you know, he was it. I mean, he was the man. He went down there, he opened it up, and then eventually, when things were really rocking and rolling, he opened up a second location. Nobody else had any dispensaries at all on the boardwalk at all. He opened up some doctor's offices, and then that inspired the competition, and all the trouble and all the fights and everything were all the doctor's offices.
Yeah.
The dispensary was ran, like he says, completely by the book. Inspectors went in there and said, wow, I wish everybody ran as tight a ship as you do. This is perfect. And I never had an issue, with everybody that came in there and saw it. But the doctor's offices were out of control, Russ.
Well, we're speaking with Rob Van Dam and Sean Cush. The movie is Boardwalk Empire: The Rise and Fall of the Medical Cush Beach Club. And, from my perspective, being outside of this, to me it seems like, especially in Southern California, that a lot of the problems that existed, between law enforcement and medical marijuana providers, and between medical marijuana providers themselves, owes to a lot of Los Angeles Council just not getting off their ass and setting some regulations that people can follow. Am I wrong in that perspective, or did you see it that way?
You gonna take that, Sean, or you want me to take it?
You go ahead. I kind of cut out a little bit for that, so I didn't really get the whole thing.
Okay, so that's always an issue, is the interpretations of the law, and then most recently they're even changing the laws, and Sean's a victim of that, being the business owner that he was, respectable, tax-paying business owner. Now they're going back to change laws so that currency accepted before as respectable business now is being considered felonious drug money that they don't even want. And it's hard enough to keep up with all these with all the laws and interpretations of it. Now they're actually changing it and going retro style, going back and predating these laws. Just to really, and he's getting hit really hard by that still. So this documentary covers still today. Tommy Chong and myself, we go to court with Sean, and we have cameras that we sneak in there. This is all still part of the ongoing story, and how they drag you through the system. We don't know exactly when it's going to be over.
Hey, Sean, what's wrong with you, man? How couldn't follow laws that were written after you had followed them? I mean, God, what a stupid situation this is, man. I mean, how do you...
And I have a crystal ball, too, and I tried using that, and it just didn't work.
I know. I mean, the stuff you guys have to go through here, and, you know, California passed Prop 215 in 1996. It's been enormously popular with the people, and it just seems at every turn here, if they can find a way to muck it up, they do. What changes would you like to see, Sean, to try to fix some of these things?
What changes would I like to see? I'd like to see marijuana legalized.
Yeah.
And everybody taken out of jail for anything to do with marijuana-related anything, you know?
Absolutely.
I mean, it's just ridiculous. I mean, you know this, and I'm sure everybody else that's listening to this already knows this and kind of preaching to the choir or whatever. But, I mean, there's no reason why marijuana should be illegal. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, 100 years from now, people are going to look back and probably laugh. It's just like what? Marijuana was illegal?
Yeah.
And alcohol was legal. And cigarettes were legal. But marijuana wasn't?
Yeah.
Huh?
How crazy is that?
Taking away a vitamin. It's like taking away a vitamin or a vegetable. It just doesn't make any sense. It's healthy for us.
That's right.
And they got all these new tests that come out that are proving that, like, it cures you from cancer, and now the new one cures you from AIDS. It's just like, when is it going to stop? It's here to help us. Let's just let it here to help us. Let's just let people smoke it. Let people medicate with it. You're not hurting anybody. I mean, it's just ridiculous. No one is being hurt. Everybody is being cured from this. What is the problem? I don't get it.
Yeah.
I'm so confused. I feel like I'm in an episode of Twilight Zone.
It does feel very Kafkaesque. And RVD, I just wanted to ask you, we've been reporting a lot this year on this crackdown from the U.S. attorneys and them sending out letters to landlords and all this stuff. How's that affected the boardwalk? I mean, is it a lot different now?
Yeah, I mean, that's actually what caused the shutdown of the Medical Kush Beach Club. It was raided, as he said, last summer on 420 of all days.
Yeah, really.
And afterwards, they left the place a mess. I mean, they stole all of his property. I mean, his guitars, his car, all kinds of stuff that he very likely may never see again. We don't even know, and he's trying to track that down, but. It was shortly after that, and it was when, with the Ogden memo, going around with the threat to landlords, you know, that if you don't kick these dispensary running businesses out, then you're rent, you're going to owe us for back rent because the money that you're paying is felonious drug money that's coming from your tenants who are selling drugs, and it's the guy, you know, I mean. The guy, what is his name? Trutanovich, however you say his name.
Carmen Trutanich, yeah.
Okay, so this crazy guy saying no matter what, no matter how you interpret it, he says you cannot hand over weed for money, whether it's nonprofit, whether it's co-op, whatever. He says the transaction, the sale of marijuana is illegal. So based on that, he thinks that all marijuana dispensaries, my understanding is that he thinks they should all be shut down because they're illegal, which obviously, I mean, I think anybody over 6th grade could see that what that does is just put the sales on unregulated streets.
Oh, either that or all the people that are using medical marijuana suddenly get healthy.
Right, which isn't going to happen. So my answer to your question on what I would like to see changed ultimately is the guidelines that Nixon set back in 1970 have to be updated. Nobody believes that marijuana has zero medicinal value anymore. They don't believe that. Yeah. I can't find anybody that will stand there and say, well, yeah, even if someone has cancer and they're wasting away, throwing up, and can't eat anything, and they're in horrible dying pain, yeah, they shouldn't be able to smoke. You know, fuck them. They shouldn't be able to have it. I don't find anybody that says that.
Yeah.
People know that it does have some medicinal value, but they don't know that the federal guidelines deny that, and that's why the feds are able to arrest people, steal their stuff, and often kill them. It's because of federal guidelines, because it has cannabis, marijuana, is a Schedule I controlled substance, meaning the most dangerous with no medicinal benefits, along with heroin and acid, and actually more dangerous than cocaine or meth. If people knew that what I'm saying is the truth, I believe that most people would demand a change just on common sense.
Yeah,
without even being educated on the matter. Just what I said. Cocaine and meth, safer, higher in medicinal value than marijuana? No, can't be.
It's something I have to reply a lot of times. I get these drug warriors, these prohibitionists that say, oh, we're going to legalize weed? What, are we going to legalize coke and meth too? And I always have to say, coke and meth are already legalized. You can get them from a doctor.
Yeah, we're just trying to regulate it. It's not going anywhere, like you said. Not everyone's going to just heal up, and not everyone's going to turn their back on this wonderful plant that has so many uses. It's not going anywhere, so let's regulate it.
Yeah.
But I do understand, and it's worth saying, because people ask me all the time, well, then why is it illegal? I do understand that, because all these big, huge conglomerate businesses make trillions of dollars off of it being prohibited. So anyone listening that doesn't understand, if you suddenly said we're going to completely legalize and utilize for medicinal, recreational, and material properties the cannabis plant, then you would basically be trying to turn a river current backwards. And it'd be really hard to do. Just like switching over to safe energies. Everything is based on what we have right now, so it'd be such an enormous initial change that it would hurt a lot of people that won't let that happen, even though morally and ultimately it would be the best thing.
Yeah, and kind of coincidentally, both of those issues are related. The banning of marijuana bans industrial hemp, which could help us out of the energy problem. So kind of go together. Yeah. We're speaking with Rob Van Dam.
Rockefellers, right?
Yeah, that's right. We're speaking with Rob Van Dam and Sean Cush, stars of the new movie Boardwalk Hempire, The Rise and Fall of the Medical Kush Beach Club. Before we go much further, can you guys give us a website or address where people can find out more?
Can you do that, Kush?
Hashbar.tv or hashbartv.com. Links both to the same website. And then also our Facebook page, Hashbar TV Facebook page. Sean Cush 420 Facebook page. Rob Van Dam's Facebook page. But there are a few fake Rob Van Dam Facebook pages, so be careful.
All right. So I also have the trailer. The trailer comes up on my homepage at robvandam.com, and it's like a 5-minute trailer. You'll understand right away why I'm so excited, because this movie is awesome. Yeah. It's really high quality, and it's documentary but it's fresh. It's the beach. It's got hot girls. It's got all the characters in it, like myself, Tommy Chong, Kush. It's got Cushionator's West Coast flavor music that's perfect with it, and you get to see festive times when the place looks like Studio 54, and a lot of people are going to go, damn, I wish I could have been there. I wish I could have stopped and seen it, before it got shut down. And a lot of people did roll through, and they got great stories. Celebrities came through. It's a really historical place. It's the building that Jim Morrison lived in on Venice Beach, which made it famous to our culture before Medical Kush Beach Club was even there. But what we're really promoting right now is this Kickstarter campaign. It's a way to get people involved on the back end, and it's really hard to give that link out because the link's so fucking big, I don't even know what to tell people.
Well, hey, I tell you what, RV, do you email that to me? And I have this little thing that shortens website addresses, and I'll make a nice custom short short web address for you.
Okay, cool. I'll do that right now while I'm talking to you, because I'm that multi-talented.
That's right. We're all multitasking here. All right, we're speaking with Rob Van Dam and Sean Cush and Medical Kush Beach Club. The movie is Boardwalk Hempire. And I've got folks in the chat room and friends here at the show that would hang me up by my thumbs if I didn't ask RVD a wrestling-related question. They wanted to know what your picks were for WrestleMania.
Oh, wow. The only match that I even know about is The Rock and Cena. And that sounds to me like a really big match, like the biggest match I think that's been on in wrestling in a long time. So I think that's great. I'm excited about the excitement. Even though I haven't been watching WWE, and I'm going to go with The Rock on that. Everyone's counting him out because he's obviously too busy to stick around, but I think if he makes a deal to make a few appearances a year, it'd be a great way to lead into it. So I'm going with The Rock. And I heard The Undertaker is up for somebody to take his record. I don't know who, but
that's Triple H.
Triple H.
Okay, well, I'm going to go with The Undertaker. Although, if Triple H does break Undertaker's record, RVD might be one of the only ones that still has an undefeated WrestleMania record. But I don't know if that counts.
Shawn Michaels is going to be a guest referee, so I don't know. He might throw a little twist
sounds like it's going to be a really big one, though. A lot of people are excited about it, so that's awesome. And for listeners that don't know, I'm currently with this other group, TNA.
Right.
We're on Spike on Thursdays on Impact, and they offer me a lot more time off. So a lot of people are bitching, RVD, we didn't see you on TV, what up, what up? But I think that's about to change, man, because I'm getting a lot of welcome back emails from the office after I did some house shows last weekend.
Far out. All right, more RVD. That's great. And the other thing too is, you mentioned that match, John Cena and The Rock, and there's so many action stars now that are coming out of wrestling. When are we going to get RVD in an action show, man?
Well, okay, actually, you can Netflix my one and only starring role. See, I have a heart for action. I love it. You know, like, and wherever that takes me is cool. I don't consider myself an actor. Like The Rock is phenomenal. He can sing, he can dance. You're not going to see RVD doing that, but I like to fight, and I like to, jump around and move and show. I've been in a few action movies. Let's see, starting with Blood Moon and then Super Fights. Then I was in Black Mask 2, and then I had my only starring role called Wrong Side of Town. You can find that everywhere. Lionsgate put it out. But even though it was my movie, they put Batista on the cover and screwed me on that. He's gone on right now. He's doing great. He's got a Tarantino thing. He's got a sequel to Scorpion King, and he's doing really well. But I also have my next starring role called The Equalizers that I'm one of the executive producers on. So instead of just being talent, I'm getting in, reaching in a little bit deeper, hold my pockets out a little deeper. Let me say that, to take some more credit. But I'm helping bring this one together, The Equalizers, and we're right now we're trying to nail the final distribution deal between a bunch of top contenders. So yeah, that's something that I do as well, Russ. I enjoy it.
Right on. We're gonna have ourselves a Netflix RVD film festival tonight, I think.
Wrong side of town, but I gotta say. No refunds.
Okay. We got a couple of guests in our studio as well. Craig and Brian are here. Did you have a question, Brian? You were trying to get on the mic there?
Oh, no, I was just agreeing.
Just agreeing. All right, right on.
Definitely the time for the marathon. Right?
Yeah, time for the marathon. All right, and let's get Sean Cush back in. Sean, as far as the legal situation that you're in, what's like your next date? Like if people want to come to the courtroom and show support and stuff, tell us what the future holds for you.
My next date is April 18th, and I got to go back to court. And one of the other kind of ridiculous things that is going on, just to give you a for instance of how our system is and how it kind of screw anybody over. All right, so I got these charges against me, and I haven't even been proven guilty yet. But I had to also hire a forfeiture attorney.
Yep.
And I hired a forfeiture attorney, and the attorney goes, "We got to try and get your stuff back, but you can only we can't ask for the stuff from the dispensary because the FBI has your stuff." And I'm like, "What the fuck?" And he's like, "Yeah, you just got to basically give up everything and just act like it never existed, I guess." I'm like, "That's not fair." I go, "What if I haven't even been proven guilty? Can't we wait?" I go, "Can't we wait until this is over? Because I might be proven innocent of everything, and then I should get all my stuff back." And he goes, "That's not how it works. You got to do the forfeit first. You got to, and then I got to pay my attorney like 40% of everything he gets back. So I might be innocent of everything. They'll take a percentage of everything. Then my lawyer takes a percentage, and even though I might be innocent, I'll be lucky if I get 20% of my stuff back."
Yeah, that's the asset forfeiture laws, where your stuff is guilty until proven innocent, regardless if you were convicted or even charged with a crime. It's an abomination of the American justice system. And guys, that's about all the time we have here today. But I want to remind everyone, check out Boardwalk Empire, Rise and Fall of Medical Cush Beach Club, and Rob Van Dab, Sean Cush. Thanks for being here on the show.
Right on, man. Appreciate it, guys. And I sent you that link, so thanks for posting that for the Kickstarter.
Will do. All right. Thanks so much, guys. And good luck to you, Sean Cush, as well. That's it for March, folks. When we come back April 2nd, we've got a new lineup here at the Norml Network. You probably saw our new intro at the beginning of the show. All sorts of changes. We're going to talk about that in hour 2. Plus, hang out with the crew here in the studio and Cannabis Carry and take your calls at 971-533-7111. For everyone here at the Norml Network, thanks for joining us. And until next time, take care of each other, tokers.
This is Norml Show Live, the voice of the Marijuana Nation.
Take it on one more time. You take a seed, you plant it, you grow it, you dry it, you roll it, you smoke it. You take a seed, you plant it, you grow it, you dry it, you roll it, you smoke it. You take a seed, you plant it, you grow it, you dry it, you roll it, you smoke it, and it goes down smooth.